Hello guys and welcome to Code and Code. If you want to learn Python and don't know how to get started, then this video is exactly for you. I will show you how to write your very first Python code from the very scratch. In this video we will see how to install Python using Anaconda and using Jupyter Notebook to write your programs, although there are several other IDEs available, but using Jupyter Notebook I think is the best for beginners. And using this Jupyter Notebook, we will write our very first program of Hello World in Python. And after that, I will show you how to use variables in Python, like integers, string, floating points, and also list in Python, which is a very important data structure in Python. So let's get started. So to install Python, we will install Anaconda, which includes Python and Jupyter Notebook as well within it. Let's open our browser and simply search for Anaconda Python, and open the first link which says individual edition. And here on the Anaconda web page, we will simply go to download and download Python 3.7. So you can download it for your own operating system if you're using Mac or Linux. I'm using Windows 64-bit, so I will download 64-bit installer. So since it is around 466 MB and takes a couple of minutes, I have already downloaded it for you guys. So I'll simply cancel the download here and go to my downloads folder where I have it downloaded. So here it is already there. I'll simply double click and the installer will start. It first is verifying, so it'll take a while before it starts. So let's wait. So installing Anaconda is as easy as other Windows applications. Just move through the setup using next. So I'll install it just for me and browse to a specific directory in my computer. In here and code and code, I've created a folder Anaconda and I will install it here. So just say install. And since it is a big program, it takes a while to install, so let's wait here for the installation to complete. The installation of Anaconda is now complete, which means the Jupyter Notebook and Python 3 is now installed on your computer. Just say next, next, and I'll uncheck these and finish. Now to open Jupyter Notebook, simply go to your Windows menu and search for Anaconda Navigator. So this will open the Anaconda Navigator, which contains the Jupyter Notebook and various other applications in it, but we will use Jupyter Notebook for now. So waiting for Anaconda to open up. Takes a while. So here you have it, your Anaconda Navigator, which has several other applications within it, and we will use Jupyter Notebook. Simply say launch and it will open into a new browser, into your default browser. Let's wait, it is loading up. So there you have it. You have successfully launched Jupyter Notebook, and to open your first project or first Python program, you will simply go to a specific folder in desktop, and I will click create a new folder in desktop. Go to desktop and say new folder and name it Python. And when you go back to your Jupyter Notebook, here you have it, Python folder. Go inside and on the top right corner you have Python 3. Just say new notebook Python 3 and opens a new tab within your browser. Now it is loading. So what it's doing at the background is creating a new kernel instance and loading it. And there you have it. On the top here you have your title, which is untitled. We will rename it to Hello World. Say rename, and it is now renamed. So your every Jupyter Notebook program runs under one kernel, which you can see here. You have several options like restart and clear and reconnect and everything. So everything you execute actually runs on this kernel. So here you have one cell where you can write your Python code and execute it. And to execute, you simply have to say run, and it runs. So starting with our hello world program, we'll simply call the print function of Python and pass the string hello world to it. So strings you have to write in double quotes. You can also write it in single quotes, but to keep it standard, we normally write in double quotes. So write print hello world, and we will just execute it. And there you go. It says hello world. So this is the simplest hello world program you will find. And you see that a new cell is created. So every time you execute a cell, Jupyter creates a new cell for you to write a program. But this does not mean that it is writing it on a different kernel. It is still writing on the same kernel, and everything you execute previously is saved. So moving on to variables, let's say we define a variable a equals to 5 and run it. So what Python did right now is created a variable a and assigned value 5 to it. And when you print a, you see 5. Or in Jupyter Notebook, you can simply say the variable name and execute it. You still get the value of the variable. Another thing you can do with the variables is define a floating point variable. Let's say b equals to 3.14 and run it. So a variable b is created with the value 3.14, which is a floating point number, and just say print b, and you have it. You can do simple arithmetic operations as well on these numbers and say c equals to a plus b, and I will say print b, or rather c. There you have it. It adds up 5 and 3.14 to give you 8.14. So it is as simple as that. You can do subtraction, division, or multiplication simply like this. You can also do it in the print function itself directly. Let's say a plus b and execute it. There you have it again. So you don't necessarily have to assign it to a different variable. We'll try to define a string called name, and assign it a string, in this case code uncode, and say print name. What does it do? It simply prints code uncode. So it is as simple as that. You don't have to declare or define the data type in advance. You can simply create and assign it a value, and Python does it for you. Another thing that you can do with print function is say print my name is, and add another string to it, say name, and it says my name is code uncode. So this is how you can utilize the print function to print a variable along with a sentence of your own. So another thing you can do in Python is take inputs from users, for which you will simply invoke the input function, say input, and give a string to the user just to let the user know what to expect. What is your name in this case? Run it. So the Python is asking for input from the user. I'll say code and say enter. So the output is code uncode. You can also save it to a variable, say name2 equals to, simply say what is your name, and when you run it, say XYZ and run it. So what it did was took XYZ, so enter it, took XYZ and assigned it to name 2. And when I say name 2, it says XYZ. So this is how you can take user inputs. Now moving on to another variable, not a variable, or rather a data structure in Python, our list. List is a very important and very useful data structure in Python, and to define a list, we'll simply give a list name, let's say list1, and in square brackets assign it values 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and so on. Just run it. So you have a list created with list with all the elements, and when you say print list1, you simply have all the elements printed from the list. You can also define a list empty and like this. So list2 is created, but it does not have any values to it, and to add values there is an inbuilt function for list, say append, and you can pass values here. So 5. So list2 has now a value 5, and when I say print list2, it prints 5. So another good feature of list is it does not have to have same data types in it, but it can have different data type like integer, floating point, or even strings within it. So I will try to append in list2 a string value. Append, and when I say list2, so you have 5 as well as ABC. There is another very useful and very easy function of list that you can use is list.pop. So what pop does is just pops out the last element on the from the list, say ABC. But popping also means that it deletes it from the list. So when I say list2, you do not have the string ABC anymore in it. And to access a specific element in a list, let's say in list1 you want to know the value at the 3rd position on the list, so you have to use the index of the element. So I'll say list1. So the indexes or the indices start with 0, 1, 2, and 3, so on. So it is the 3rd position is actually index 2, and when I say run, it gives me 4, which is in this case the value. I can also change the value, assign a different value to it. Say list 2 equals to 4.23, not a string, 4.23. It does. And when I say print list 1, so 4 is changed to 4.23. This is how you can simply use list. So list is a very useful data structure in Python, and we will cover more operations and the uses of list in a separate video. So there you have it, your very first Hello World program, and using different variables in Python and how to execute your code, how to use Jupyter Notebook. What you can do now is try out these operations on your own and see how it goes for you, and I will see you next time.